No one's talking about this the way they should. A woman tried to break into Rihanna's home. Her children were there. The shooter came fully prepared, wig, extra ammo, paper plates on the car. And just 1 week after securing the highest bail in LA history, a judge quietly reduced it by 5 times. No explanation, nothing. Okay, so if you clicked on this thinking it's just another crazy fan story, I get it. That's how the headlines first made it seem. But as more details have come to light, the harder it's become to believe this was some random person who just snapped. Here's what stood out to everyone immediately: the bail. The judge set it at $10.2 million, the highest in Los Angeles County history, for a shooting where no one was physically harmed. Think about that. Actual murders in LA have had lower bail than this. So why is the judge treating this case like the person is an extreme danger to the public? Then just 1 week later, same case, no new evidence, the judge slashes that bail by 5 times. From $10.2 million down to $1.8 million, just like that, no explanation, the media barely covered it. And that alone tells you this story is much bigger than what's being reported. In this video, you'll find out who Ivana Ortiz really is, what she has to do with one of the biggest music corporations in the world, and why Rihanna's name keeps surfacing whenever the Epstein Files come up. By the end of this, you'll understand why Rihanna packed up her kids, left Los Angeles the very next day, and hasn't been back since. What happened on March 8th? On March 8, 2026, a 35-year-old woman named Ivana LZ Ortiz drove from Orlando, Florida, all the way to Beverly Hills. She pulled up to Rihanna's front gate and fired over 10 shots with an AR-15 style rifle. The bullets hit the gate, the house, and the silver Airstream trailer parked in the driveway. Here's the part that made everyone stop. Rihanna and A$AP Rocky were inside that trailer when the shots were fired. Not in the main house, in the trailer right there. Inside the home, there were also 3 kids, Rihanna's mother, and 2 staff members. 8 people total at risk. After the shooting, Ortiz drove away calmly. She was caught about 30 minutes later at a shopping center 7 miles away. When police searched her car, they found the AR-15 7 spent shell casings, a blonde wig, and a 30-round magazine in the trunk. The district attorney made it clear this was willful, deliberate, and premeditated.
Along here, new tonight, a woman is in custody after firing multiple shots at the California home of pop star Rihanna while she was inside. Lori Perez reports from the Beverly Crest neighborhood of Los Angeles.
We are down the street from Rihanna's house here in Beverly Crest, just north of Beverly Hills. You can see an officer stationed here, yellow tape closing the street off to through traffic. LAPD tells us they arrested a person earlier today for firing multiple shots at the house. This happened just after 1 today Pacific time. We can see multiple bullet holes in the fence outside the home. The LA Times is reporting the pop star was inside at the time. It is unclear if her partner, the rapper A$AP Rocky, or their 3 children were also there.
The Epstein Files, what you need to know. Now here's the other crucial piece of context before we dive into this. On January 30th, 2026, the Department of Justice released over 3.5 million pages of documents connected to Jeffrey Epstein. Videos, images, FBI files, everything. Buried inside those files is an unverified FBI tip from 2019 that names Jay-Z. To be clear, he has not been charged with anything. The mention comes from an anonymous tip via a public hotline describing an alleged incident from 1996. But here's what matters: his name is in the files. And on March 3rd, just 5 days before the shooting, Congresswoman Nancy Mace confirmed that Jay-Z is among the people the government is actively reviewing. Why does that matter? Because Jay-Z is the man who discovered Rihanna. He's been connected to her career since she was a teenager. And if you understand that, the rest of this story starts to make a lot more sense. The woman who drove 2,500 miles, so let's talk about Ivana Ortiz. At first, everyone assumed she was just a fan who lost her mind. Honestly, the videos on her social media didn't help that theory. She had been posting about Rihanna for months before the shooting. In one video, she claims Rihanna's been harassing her. She talks about God's judgment coming for her. She calls her ugly and just keeps going, video after video after video. Now here's where it gets complicated. Yes, her social media makes it look like a person going through something very serious mentally, but the way she carried out this attack doesn't match someone who just snapped. She planned this. She drove over 2,500 miles from Florida to California. She came with a blonde wig to change her appearance. She came with extra ammunition. She had paper license plates on the car to avoid being tracked. This wasn't a breakdown. This was organized. And then, like we talked about, the judge set the highest bail in LA County history, $2 million. But 1 week later, they cut it by 5 times with zero explanation, no new evidence, no change in charges, just reduced. So who benefits from her getting out faster? That's the question nobody's been asking loud enough. The Live Nation connection. Okay, this next part you really need to pay attention to because this detail got buried under all the other coverage. 4 months before the shooting in October 2025, Ivana Ortiz filed a lawsuit against Live Nation. She was trying to block a Billie Eilish concert in Orlando. She claimed it would cause her immediate harm. She asked the court to stop it. The court dismissed the case. The concert happened, and that should have been the end of it. But here's what makes that detail interesting. Live Nation is the same company that promotes Rihanna's tour through Roc Nation, Jay-Z's company. It's also the same Live Nation that the Department of Justice is currently suing for illegally controlling the concert industry. Cat Williams has been talking about this pattern for years. He says the music industry has a way of using people who look unstable, people with a public history of erratic behavior. Because when something happens, it's easy to point at them and say, "See, crazy person, case closed." He calls them patsies. And Cat says Ortiz fits that profile almost perfectly. She has the social media history, the mental health questions. She can be quickly identified, quickly arrested, and the story gets wrapped up before anyone asks bigger questions.
Listen, Rihanna, when you die, God is taking me to my future.
10 felony counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm.
She only did her little music thing so that she could do witchcraft.
The 3:00 a.m. contract in the 29th floor. Now we need to go back, way back, to 2005. Rihanna is 16 years old and has just been brought over to New York to audition for Def Jam Records. At the time, Jay-Z is the president of Def Jam. She walks in, sings, and he's impressed. So far, so normal, right? But then Rihanna goes on the Tyra Banks show and tells the story herself. She says Jay-Z looked at her and told her, paraphrasing here, "There are two ways to leave this office, either through the door with a deal or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor." The audience gasped. Tyra gasped. And Rihanna, she laughed nervously. What else do you do when a powerful man says something like that to you? And I don't know about you, but that line doesn't land the same way in 2026 as it did in 2005. Jay-Z later confirmed the story in a 2005 MTV interview. He said they signed her that night, that they didn't let her leave the office, and that the contract got signed at 3:00 a.m. The 3:00 a.m. contract in the 29th floor. A 16-year-old girl, no parents in the room, and a grown man who by his own words wouldn't let her leave. In 2005, that story was sold as hustle, as determination, Jay-Z being so excited about Rihanna's talent that he had to lock in the deal that night. In 2026, with Jay-Z's name in the Epstein Files and the entire entertainment industry under a federal microscope, that same story hits very differently. What does Rihanna know? Here's the thing about Rihanna that people aren't saying enough. She's been inside this industry for 20 years. She's been to the parties, she's been on the private jets, she's been in the rooms, she knows who knows who. She knows what went on and who was around when it happened. Right now, with Diddy sitting in prison waiting for trial, with Weinstein already convicted, and with investigators going through the Epstein Files looking for anyone who can testify, Rihanna's name keeps coming up as someone who could be a material witness. On March 3, 2026, Congresswoman Nancy Mace confirmed that Jay-Z is among the people the government is reviewing in connection with the Epstein investigation. That's 5 days before someone showed up at Rihanna's house with an AR-15. Cat Williams has been pretty direct about how this works. He says the industry doesn't need to kill you, they just need to scare you enough that you stay quiet. They show you, we know where you live, we know where your kids sleep, and we can reach you anytime we want. And then the very next day after the shooting, March 9th, Rihanna packs up her family, drives to Van Nuys Airport, and gets on a private jet. Destination unknown, she's gone and she hasn't come back. Her team hasn't made a single statement, she's gone completely dark. Now think about that. If this was just a crazy fan, you don't run. You hire more security guards. You put up better cameras. You stay in your home and protect your space. You only run when you realize the person holding the gun is just the beginning of something much bigger. 50 Cent's silence speaks volumes. Now let's talk about 50 Cent. The man hasn't posted a single thing about this, and if you know 50, you know that's unusual. This is a man who has been publicly backing Rihanna for 15 years straight. When Chris Brown attacked her in 2009, 50 Cent spoke out immediately. When A$AP Rocky went to trial in February 2025, facing 24 years in prison, 50 was posting his support the whole time. When Rocky got acquitted, 50 celebrated publicly. But on March 8, 2026, 10 bullets at Rihanna's home, and 50 Cent says absolutely nothing publicly. According to an insider, 50 did reach out privately. He reportedly called A$AP Rocky after the shooting to offer support, and allegedly told Rocky, "Take Rihanna and the babies to Barbados because whoever sent that shooter will send someone else." 50 Cent has watched what happened to the people who spoke out publicly. Cat Williams got mocked and dismissed for years. Corey Feldman was laughed off when he tried to talk about Hollywood abuse. Rose McGowan lost her career. Kanye West ended up hospitalized. So 50 made a choice. He's not going to expose the network by naming names on Instagram. Instead, he's producing documentaries about Diddy, about the music industry, about how power operates, and letting viewers connect the dots themselves. And honestly, that might be the smartest move in the room right now. ASAP's enemies and the Roc Nation question. Now, before we wrap this up, there are two other theories people have been talking about, and you deserve to hear them. The first one is A$AP Rocky's former crew member, A$AP Ray. These two had a falling out that ended up in a criminal trial. Ray accused A$AP of shooting him twice. A$AP was looking at 24 years in prison, but he was acquitted in February 2025. Ray is still out there, still angry, and people have been pointing at him as a possible connection to the shooting. The second theory, and this is the one that's gotten the most traction online, is Roc Nation. Social media has been flooded with posts claiming that Rihanna has quietly been cooperating with federal investigators, that she's been talking about what she knows regarding Jay-Z's dealings and the network she's been around for 20 years. Nobody has confirmed this, it's speculation. But if there's any truth to it, it explains a lot about why someone would want to send her a message right now at this exact moment in time.
Diva Rihanna. And when she walked into our office, I was like, you know, she just had, it was just something about her. It was just, she had this, you know, it was just something about it. And then she performed the song, and I was like, okay, okay. Then, you know, we sat down and we talked, and they were talking about how she would stay in the studio and try to get the verse over, and then come back the next day. I was like, oh, work ethic, everything is there. So we signed it that night. We didn't let her leave the office. Really? The 3 in the morning was when that contract got signed. So from the meeting around 3, 4 in the afternoon, we signed it by 3 in the morning. Wow. That day I was absolutely certain.
Oh yes, he said, we don't sing songs here, we sing artists. And there was this little pause, and I was nervous. But then he said, and we're interested. And there was this sudden feel of relief. But then he said something about a window and a door. Oh, then he said, you did it homework. I did a lot of homework on you this lady. He said, there are 2 ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal signed, or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor.